You remember that scene in 4V Ferrari where Carol Shelby's got the stopwatch and says, let's see what this thing can really do? Man, that's exactly the vibe after like 10,000 kilometers on a classic 350. Not when you're chasing lap times or anything, but when you're listening, really listening to how your bike talks back through the clutch lever and the gear pedal. Welcome to Man, Motorcycle and Garage, the only podcast where grease stains mean love and every misfire is a story. I'm Aadi, marine engineer by training, Thump by lifestyle, and today we're getting into that long-haul romance with your Royal Enfield Classic 350. Because let's be honest, for the first 1,000 clicks, everything's new, everything's shiny. But once you cross 10,000, that's when you find out if it's real love or just a fling with chrome. And I'm not going solo on this ride. With me in the garage is a man who once rode from Delhi to Tawang with nothing but a saddlebag full of instant noodles and a multi-tool. He's ex-mechanical engineer, now a full-time motovlogger, and the kind of guy who refuses to use navigation apps because, quote, asking locals is half the journey. Meet Ravi Torque Menon, aka the roadside MacGyver of Indian highways.
Arey bro, GPS takes the soul out of travel yaar. You miss the real stories, like the chai wala who tells you a shortcut that's actually a buffalo path. But yeah man, stoked to be here. And let me tell you, 10,000 kilometers on a classic, that's not just a number bro, that's character development for you and the bike.
Ravi is one of those guys who's fixed his clutch cable with nylon rope once, in the middle of a storm, while a monkey stole his helmet. True story. But today he's here to talk sense, or as much sense as he ever does, and break down how that Royal Enfield clutch and gearbox feel after 10,000 kilometers of real-world madness.
First of all, that monkey had taste. My helmet had stickers, bro. But yeah, 10,000 kilometers is where the romance ends and the real marriage begins, you know?
Exactly, man. And let's start with the clutch. It's kind of crazy. After 10,000 kilometers, most riders I've spoken to say it still feels light, predictable, like muscle memory, especially if you've been nice to it, not abusing it with that constant half-clutch nonsense.
Totally. I have done traffic jams in Kanpur, ghat climbs in Himachal. The clutch is still butter smooth. And bro, let's be honest, this thing is designed for Indian chaos. It's not a diva. It's your reliable best friend who doesn't complain unless you really neglect him. Right? And the lever action? Still smooth. No squeaks, no stiff spots if you're keeping it lubed and adjusting that cable once in a while. I'd keep telling people, nah, don't wait for it to go bad before you touch it. Preventive maintenance, boss. Yeah, but that's the thing now. Most people won't blink before spending 300 rupees on Zomato, but won't get the clutch cable checked. Like, bro, 200-300 rupees for peace of mind on a highway ride is still deal.
Fully agree. Okay, we'll talk more about that low maintenance magic later. But now we gotta talk about that gearbox da. The 5-speed that quietly transforms from clunky to crisp somewhere around 3000 km. And by 10 km, it becomes part of your reflexes.
Bro, it's like your bike starts speaking your language. And if you're still getting false neutrals after 5,000 kilometers, either you skipped an oil change or you owe your gearbox an apology.
Oof, true story. Alright, don't go anywhere. When we're back, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of shift quality, oil myths, and how to keep your gears from turning grumpy.
You know that point in your ownership where the bike stops feeling like a machine and starts feeling like an extension of your leg. That's usually around the 5 to 6K mark for the classic 350, yeah? But by 10,000 kilometers, that 5-speed box, it becomes instinct, huh? You don't think about the shift. Your toe just taps and the gear slides in like a cold kingfisher on a hot day. No drama. Bro, I'll tell you what, that gearbox on the classic, it's like your college roommate. Bro, awkward at first, makes weird noises when shifting position. Yeah, but give it time, let it settle, and suddenly you're finishing each other's sentences. Exactly. I mean, during the run-in period, those first 1500 to 2000 kilometers, yeah, it's a little notchy. Especially the first to second shift. You get the occasional false neutral and your foot's like, bro, are we in gear or not? But after that, it's like the bike takes a deep breath and just mellows out. I remember during my Spiti ride, somewhere near Kaza, I was descending, mid-rev, bit of engine braking, and I tapped it down to third. And man, it just clicked. Clean, no thunk, no drama. That's when I realized, okay, now we're talking. That's the classic sweet spot, no? Between second and fifth, that's where the gearbox is in its element. You're not rev bending, you're just flowing, you're in the zone. And the moment you aren't, you feel it. It resists. It tells you, oi, that wasn't the right time. True that. But here's the catch, ta. If you're skipping oil changes, if you're stretching it beyond 3,000, 4,000 kilometers, the gearbox lets you know. Little extra resistance, slight hesitation, that buttery shift, gone. Suddenly you're back to peanut butter gear shift, sticky, chunky, and not in a good way. Yeah, that's an important one. A lot of riders think engine oil is just for, the engine. But bro, that oil's doing double duty. Cooling, lubricating, smoothing out those gear shifts. Delay your service and the gears get, I don't know, cranky?
And honestly, I don't get why people stretch it. I mean, engine oil changes are like what? 1200 rupees with filter once every 3-4K, and your bike runs smoother, shifts cleaner, revs happier. It's like brushing your teeth. Don't do it and everyone suffers.
Damn straight. And just like with teeth, if you ignore it too long, it's gonna cost you. Especially if you start hearing clunks on downshifts or that click, pause, engage, feel. That's not romance, bro. That's a warning sign.
True that. And also, I've noticed this with some folks who tweak their clutch but forget the bigger picture. Like they'll adjust the cable, but they've got 5,000 kilometer old oil, dirty levers, and are wondering why is my gear shift still stiff? Dude, your bike is not magic. It needs holistic care. Holistic care. Bro, you sound like a motorcycle therapist now. Sir, how long since your bike felt appreciated? Hey, I'll take that. If it helps someone ride better, I'll give free sessions. First one is always, when's the last time you checked your chain slack? Love it. Alright, we've talked clutch, we've talked gearbox, and we've sprinkled in a little rider guilt therapy. But up next, we're gonna get into the tiny issues that creep up around 10K. The cable stretch, the occasional notchy shift, and why some riders face it and others don't. Because trust me, it's all in the
clutch and syncing with the gearbox. Let's talk about the little curveballs. The kind that start sneaking in after, say, 8,000 to 10,000 kilometers. Not deal breakers, but yeah, things that can raise an eyebrow mid-ride.
Yup, I call this the relationship maturity phase. You're past the fireworks, everything's chill. But once in a while, the bike goes, hey, is still Lamina? Like little reminders that she needs attention.
Exactly. And probably the most common whisper you'll get, that clutch cable stretch. It's not dramatic, the lever doesn't suddenly stop working or anything, but you'll feel it. The engagement point moves just a little forward. The lever gets, I don't know, a bit lazy. Like it's saying, Arey, you expect me to pull today also?
Love just spot on. It starts small. Like one morning you're riding to work and suddenly you've got to tug that lever a bit more than usual. That's the stretch, bro. But thankfully it's easy to fix. Just turn the barrel adjuster, give it a couple of tweaks, boom, back to normal. Or worst case, 250 rupees for a new cable and 15 minutes of your mechanic's time.
True story. I once did a roadside clutch cable swap with a borrowed spanner and a packet of Parle-G as my mechanic's fee. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. What is dangerous though, ignoring it till it snaps. Especially if you're in the middle of, say, a hill climb or a jam-packed flyover.
Oh bro, been there. My clutch cable snapped once near Rohtang. And I was like, okay, either I push this bike up the mountain or I ride without a clutch. Guess what I did? Rode it clutchless all the way down to Manali.
You maniac. But yeah, shows how resilient the Classic is. If your throttle and timing are on point, she'll still shift without fuss. Now the second thing I've heard some riders talk about, notchy shifts after long intervals without oil changes. Like we said earlier, that oil, it's the soul juice, bro.
Yeah, and honestly, you can feel it in your foot. Gear shifts go from click-click to clunk-thunk. Notchy downshifts especially. But again, it's not the gearbox's fault. It's your maintenance calendar giving you the middle finger.
Exactly. And here's a hot tip. If your gear shifts suddenly feel off, but your clutch is okay, just try changing the engine oil and see the magic. It's like giving your bike a spa day, bro.
Facts, I've done rides where I changed oil mid-tour and the difference is immediate. I went from, why is my bike grumpy to, oof, this girl's purring again.
Now let's address the elephant in the garage. Off-road or overloaded use. Like if you're carrying a pillion, saddlebags, tent, camping stuff, 2 pineapples and a bloody guitar. Yeah, your clutch might wear a bit faster.
Hey, that was one ride, okay? But point taken. Weight plus rough terrain equals extra clutch strain. That's where good habits matter most. Feather the throttle right, avoid unnecessary half clutch, and your bike will thank you.
So yeah, no big horror stories, nothing dramatic, just gentle signs. And the smart rider listens. You don't wait for breakdowns, you sense the vibe and act. That's what separates a good owner from just another weekend poser.
Yeah, man. Riding a classic isn't just about showing off the tank badge. It's about the bond. You give her attention, she gives you reliability. Simple equation.
Preach. Alright, folks, up next, we're going deep into why the Classic's clutch and gearbox actually age so well. What's Royal Enfield doing under the tank that gives it that mechanical consistency? We're pulling back the curtain on the engineering magic,
Alright,
or
let's
as
roll up
Ravi
our
calls it,
sleeves
the
and
good
peek
jugaad.
under the tank, bro. Cause look, the classic 350 isn't just staying reliable after 10,000 kilometers because the bike got smiled upon it. There's reason behind the resilience. Some solid, smart engineering choices went into that clutch and gearbox. Now the big thing is, this ain't the old UC era classic anymore. This is the J series classic. All new platform, and Mark Custom, they got it right this time. Yup, you can tell Aadi isn't just polishing the chrome anymore. They've actually gone in rethought stuff like the primary gear ratios, the oil circulation, clutch plate material. It's all working smarter, not harder. And that's why the clutch doesn't give up the ghost at 7,000 clicks. Exactly. So here's what I know. The clutch uses multiple friction plates and steel plates, just like most modern bikes, but they've tuned the spring tension just right. It's light enough for daily city use, but still has enough grip to handle touring loads. You're not fighting the lever every red light. Your fingers aren't crying by the time you hit second gear. Bro, and that smooth lever action, that's partly down to that redesigned clutch cable routing too. Earlier, Ari's wires used to snake around like spaghetti. Now it's clean lines, less friction, no weird bands. Even the damn cable sheath is thicker now. It's not gonna fray unless you've been dragging your bike through thorn bushes. Or unless Ravi has taken your bike to Ladakh, in which case, all bets are off. But yeah, that gearbox also got a serious glue up. We are talking helical gears instead of straight cut in some places, tighter machining tolerances, and get this, Ari even improved the shift drum design. It's subtle, but you feel it. You totally do. Like the gears click into place, not clunk. That positive engagement, it's not just satisfying, it builds confidence. Mid-turn downshift, you're not second guessing it. And false neutrals practically disappear after 2000, 3000 km. That's the gates bedding in properly, getting to know each other like old roommates. I swear you got more metaphors than a wedding toast, man. But true, it beds in and it lasts. You look at most bikes in this price range, even a few Japanese ones, and you'll see owners complaining about gear hunting or stuck shifts after 8,000, 10,000 km. But the classic is like, chill bro, I got this. Also, not to get too geeky, but let's not forget how much of a difference the oil circuit makes here. The J series has a better internal oiling path for the gearbox cluster. That means consistent lube around the gears and selector forks, less wear, less heat. Yep, and less heat equals more consistent performance. You're not gonna feel a weird notch just because you rode through 45 degrees centigrade summer heat in Rajasthan. The system's just more thermally stable, yaar. And one more thing, it's not just about what Aadi put in, it's about what they didn't do. They didn't overcomplicate it. No electronic clutches, no slipper clutch gimmicks. It's just good mechanical tuning built for Indian conditions. Bro, the classic is still a wrench and screwdriver kind of a bike, which means you maintain it well, she'll last. You treat her like an appliance, and yeah, she'll throw tantrums. Spoken like a man who once fixed a throttle cable with dental floss. I don't knock it till you're tired, okay? Floss and a zip tie. Saved my ass near Puj. Alright, we're getting off track. But seriously, 10,000 km into this, and both the clutch and gearbox are mechanically stable, low maintenance, and forgiving. That's no accident. It's smart design, minimal electronics, mechanical parts built with tolerance, tuned for our roads. And that's what keeps the thump going.
Amen. The soul's in the sound, but the trust, that's in the feel of the lever and the click of the gear.
Boom, that's a quote right there. Okay, so next, let's land this right. We're going to talk final thoughts. What does it really mean to own a classic 350 beyond 10K? Is the thump still worth it? Are you still in love with your machine or just keeping it out of habit? And should you be worried about anything? Maintenance tips, warning signs, and
Alright,
when to
folks,
finally
last
show your
leg
bike
of the
some
ride.
available.
We've talked the mechanicals, the quirks, the tech.
But now let's bring it back to the heart, yeah? Owning a classic 350 after 10,000 kilometers, it's not just about durability anymore. It's about rhythm. You, the machine, the road, all three sync up. The clutch knows your grip, the gearbox knows your style. You stop thinking and you just ride.
Yeah, man. It's like the bike becomes invisible. You don't notice the clutch pull anymore. You don't second guess your downshifts. She just flows. She's not fighting you, she's riding with you.
That's the magic, no? And that's what most people miss when they ask, is the classic reliable? I mean, yeah, if you treat her like a bloody rental scooty, she'll give up on you. But if you ride her right, she'll go the distance. She won't nag, she won't rattle. She'll just thump along, rain or shine, pothole or highway. And even when those small issues crop up, clutch cable stretch, tiny shifts feeling off, or lever feeling heavy, it's all fixable. It's not drama, it's just the bike saying, "Hoy, I need a little care, bro." Yup. So here's some real talk for anyone listening and wondering, should I worry about my classic after 10,000 kilometers? Nah, you shouldn't worry. You should listen to the sound of the clutch, the feel of the shifter, the tension in your cable. That's it. Just be a little more aware. Like check your clutch play every 1,000 kilometers, lube the cable every few washes, swap the oil on time. Don't be lazy. 300 rupees now can save you 3,000 later, no?
And one tip I always give new riders is ride like your bike has feelings. Don't bang gears like you're playing PUBG. Ease into shifts. Learn your throttle timing. Respect the thump.
That should be a sticker. Respect the thump or walk home.
Oh, I'd buy that. Slap it on the tank and send it.
So final verdict. After 10,000 kilometers, the classic 350's clutch and gearbox are still solid, still smooth, still dependable. But more than that, they become part of you. They respond to how you ride, not just where you ride. And that for me is where the real dove starts.
Couldn't agree more. You're not just riding a bike anymore, you're carrying memories. That lever, it's seen your bad days. That gearbox, it shifted through your 3M ride and your office commutes. It's yours now.
Exactly. So take care of her, duh. Give her the oil she deserves, the adjustment she needs, and in return, she'll carry you further than you imagine. Alright, that's it for today's episode of Man, Motorcycle and Garage. Big thanks to Ravi Menon for joining me once again and for reminding us that even clutch cables have a personality.
Anytime, bro. Next time, let's do one on engine heat management because my legs are still recovering from last year's Rajasthan ride.
Done. And if any of you listening have done over 10k on your Classic, share your experience with us. Tag the show, drop us a DM, or just ride by the garage and honk twice. We'll know it's you.